Buy and hold. This is a savings. Most people save by buying a house, right? And they don't think twice. They want to have a house, and they think that it's a good investment. They go to the bank, put some money down, and then pay off a loan. I think you should view your savings in Bitcoin kind of like that. Buy an amount, take out a loan, buy some Bitcoin, and hold it.
Mexico's third wealthiest citizen, business magnate Ricardo Salinas Pliego, who has an estimated net worth of $13 billion, did an interview with Insight DeFi's Pascal Hugli, in which he spoke at length about Bitcoin and how he came into the asset.
The problem with gold is it's hard to transport, hard to store. And I think the gold price has been manipulated rather easily by central governments across the world. So those are the disadvantages I see. And now when Bitcoin comes along as a new asset that is very hard to manipulate because it's traded 24 hours, 7 days a week in many different exchanges, and governments are not so wise as to the importance of that price as opposed to the gold price. So it's been left alone, and I think it's just a better asset. You can buy it and sell it much easier. You can transport it. It doesn't have storage costs. It's an amazing asset. And people don't understand how money became money. What is money? What's the difference between money and credit? It gets complicated. But at the end of the day, it all boils down to human beings do really well when we cooperate. When we work together, the human species do well. All right? That's why we've become the dominant species in the world. We cooperate. Now, cooperation necessarily means division of labor and specialization. It's an inevitable corollary of cooperation is division of labor and specialization. And that must bring trading, one thing for another. And trading, when it starts as barter, is very difficult because, I have to trade you my skins for your grain. And so that's how money developed. It developed as the most liquid, the most easily realizable commodity. And that's why across the history of humanity, we've had different metals evolving eventually into gold. However, the gold standard has always been subject to government intervention. From the time of the Romans to the times of the Byzantines, and of course then to the British, at the end of the Second World War, they totally screwed up. And then, of course, the Americans with the Nixon repeal of the gold convertibility in '71. So the gold standard was thrust aside because of the dark interests of the different governments that like to push fiat, because fiat allows you to finance endlessly, right? That's the problem, right? So I think that the number one application that you can see out of Bitcoin, well, two applications. Number one is it is unseizable, okay? And that's very important because we don't realize that all our fiat money, everything we have in fiat, is 100% seizable by the government. People don't realize this, okay? Yeah. But that's the fact.
That's a fact. Yeah.
Your money in the bank, and we have bank, can be frozen or confiscated or taken away. Exactly. People don't realize that they're subject to this, but it could happen. It could. So this is the number one proposition. This is not in any bank. It's not in any financial system. It's not in Mexico. It's not in the U.S. It's not in Germany. It's not anywhere. Right? It's up there. So you can take it with you. And number two, it has this amazing property that you can transfer it instantaneously from one place of the world to another. So it really doesn't matter if you're using it to pay for some coffee. It's secondary. And you could also do that with the new Lightning Network. And also, there's something important here. Most people are not sophisticated investors. A month ago it was $60,000 per Bitcoin. Now it's $35,000. Yeah, people who bought it are going to be very disappointed. And I don't want to be the one that they point at. I bought it because of you, right? I don't need that. So I always tell people, I think it's a good investment, but if you think you're going to turn a quick buck in the next 30 days, I wouldn't recommend. Listen, look what the Federal Reserve has done in the States. This is a reserve currency of the world. We're all hooked up to the dollar whether we want it or not. And these guys, they've inflated the money supply from 1 trillion to 9 trillion. I mean, it's just
Crazy, yeah.
it's unconscionable, incredible. They flooded the world with fake money,
Yeah.
with savings that are non-existent. And I love it the way they put it, They're such cynical people. Well, the Fed has been buying bonds.
Yeah.
Well, what doesn't sound so bad if you buy something, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But what if they said the Fed has been lending money like a drunken sailor left, right, and center to anybody who shows up? That doesn't sound so cool, huh?